Good evening, everyone. I'm gonna try to make today's video nice, short, and sweet, as it's pretty simple. Um, Not a lot that I did today as far as the trading side goes. I've been pushing myself more to be more neutral and kind of out of the market on days like Fed Day and CPI releases, just because how volatile these market conditions can get, especially just with the way these algorithms and emotional traders can stretch the market one way or another. So today, what happened, right? Fed came out, raised interest rates by 50 basis points, which was expected. Nothing new on that front, right? Everybody knew that this was something that was going to be happening, yet the market still acted emotionally afterwards, right? Here in J period, you can see this large spike down. In J, where I'm hovering over right now, 64 point range in J period. That's a hefty range, right? That's a lot of volume being done, or a lot of people that got hurt. Imagine the amount of people that were getting long, not even thinking about what was occurring, what was going on later in the evening, right, with what the Fed could possibly come out and do. They were getting long, ignoring all of that, thinking, all right, this market's going to go up, just based off of everything that they were seeing. They're like, this market's going to go up. And then, we come in and they get stopped out. They get more people get flushed out, more people get flushed out, and then all of a sudden you have people buying at the low of the day, thinking, all right, this thing's just going to pop back up to the top. That doesn't happen. More people get flushed out. We finally fill the gap from yesterday. We finally filled the gap, got that tick, took out the low day. We went and got these two sets of single prints. I have them highlighted. Normally, I have them kind of demonstrated like I do right here with these dashed lines. Normally, I have it demonstrated, but because this is the new contract that I'm looking at, I do not have it yet marked. So that's how I have it marked at the moment. Just and you could have been buyers in this region, but with the way the market reacts after the fact, I'm not somebody that trades this kind of market. Tomorrow, I'm all in. I'm game to play, right? All we did was put the daily back into a balance. Yesterday, we went from uh, coming out of balance to the upside. Today, we took it back into a balance as we took out the previous day's low. But let's back it up a minute. Let's review what occurred early on in the day and the types of trades that you could have possibly taken, right? Let's just review those real quick. And like I said, normally I wouldn't trade. I might have traded early morning. So I'm just going to kind of, if you just focus on the right-hand side of my screen here, I'm just going to try to show just the first few periods to give you better understanding. So the market opened up in A period at 40.51, right, where this dashed line is. 40.51 is where we opened up at. Uh, there's a little bit of scrutiny here. I got open 51.75. This is showing 41.50. Either way, 41.51 or 40.51, excuse me, was the open. We opened up in the lower distribution, right? Lower distribution from yesterday because we had a triple distribution day. Was F's high to G's low, so we opened up in that range. We did get that 8 wide POC, not a lot going on there, right? Um, 8 wide POC, not a lot going on. We pushed up, hit the top of the upper distribution. Distribution. Ignore my pronunciation. Anyway, we get to the top. You could have faded it the first few times because up here initially against these single prints, we did back off a few times, and then eventually there was enough demand to go and fill this set of single prints where supply would have been initially. So after A period, that set of single prints got filled. Uh, I'm going to keep it in there for now. B period, we attempted to get into the middle distribution, right? Distribution was C's high to C's low, so all of C's range. We tried to get into that in B period, chopped around, was trying to find acceptance. We had begun one time framing up, didn't hold any single prints, wasn't really trend day, so not the best risk reward. We were also um, values unchanged initially, inside day, so bad risk reward overall. Not something I'd look to trade, especially when the daily is supposed to be one time framing up at this, with what we know at this moment. C period takes out the initial balance high. We continue to one time frame up. D period continues to do the same thing. The only other trade I would have taken may have been on the short side in E period against value high from yesterday. Would have been the only area I would have been interested. Value high from yesterday was 40.90. We got up to 40.86.50, so I still might not have even gotten filled. That would have been one trade I would have taken, looked to get a short against, forced to rotate back down. We had at that time gotten one, two, three, four, or three wide. We would have been looking to get four, so I would have been traded to pull POC back down. Then F period, right? We pull back. We're still trading above the lower distribution, so that's good. You could have been taking trades against that lower distribution. In F, N, and G, not a lot what you would have gotten out of it. Then leading into the FOMC, we began to get a little bit of a short squeeze as H popped. Some stops, ran some stops in J period, ran some stops and pushed up. Then in J period, or I period, ran some stops, pushed up even higher, set a new high on the day. That would have been where I would have gotten filled at 90, and that would have been like on a normal day. I wouldn't have taken the trade late in I period because I know in the next time frame, in the next 30 minutes, that the Fed's going to come out and do some and the algos are going to do some crazy shit like they did here in J period and flushed everybody out. So at this point, we've established a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wide point of control up here at the top end. J period flushes out, takes out the low of day, comes down, takes out the previous low of day, fills that gap initially, creates a small set of single prints. Those get filled later in the day, but K period holds it. We continue to one time frame down. We get into the set of single prints here, right? There was enough supply to fill where demand may have been. That gets filled. We push even lower into the next set of single prints. Those get filled, and that might have been a better risk reward long uh, if you were looking to fade the extreme on that move down, knowing that the Fed was going to do exactly what they did. So we push down into that set of single prints. You get long at the single print fill, and then maybe you put your out at 39.90. Your long was at 39.97. You're risking 7 points to potentially come back up at some point in time and fill, especially if you're not thinking, this was all emotional trading. If you're thinking we're going to come back and fill the set of single prints that began uh, here at A's low 51, and you're getting long 97s, right? That's a really good risk reward long, and that's exactly what happened. We bounced off that demand area, came back into the previous day's range, and almost got 10 wide, but failed, and then M period just kind of chopped around. So not a lot going on. Put the daily back into a balance. We never got into the upper distribution from the previous day. We just traded the middle distribution, flushed out, and then traded back into the lower distribution. Um, so yeah, not a lot going on today. That's basically what occurred. A wacky market we are in at the moment. So we're just in a balance. We're going to call it a 2-day balance using 41.41 as the high, and then today's low at 39.97 as the balance low. If we take out the low of day tomorrow, then we look to rotate lower and test the previous day, or test that low of day from the 12th at 39.69. But I have a feeling we're going to digest tomorrow, maybe chop around a little bit, and we'll get a pretty good rotational day. See what happens. So overall, let's mark what happened. Let's mark our destinations. Let's mark today's low of day. We're going to mark today's high of day. And then we're going to mark this 9 wide point of control because it is relatively important here at uh, 76.50 is where we'll put it. That's going to be 76.50 is our 9 wide POC. Today's date the 14th. We'll make that yellow. Then we got our high of day up here in J period or in I period at 90.75 is the high of day. We'll mark that. High day 12.14. And then we have today's low of day, our balance low for the daily at 96. Excuse me, at 97. 97 is our low of day. So we'll mark it, label it low of day, 12/14th is today's date. So we looked tomorrow, if we open up inside today's range, inside today's value, we look to possibly just trade inside of J and K's range for the majority of the day, maybe get up into this 9 wide POC. If we find acceptance above that, then we look to maybe trade up into the upper distribution, which is all of A's range, and potentially begin the one time frame up again on the daily, taking out the balance high. If we open up and decide we want to test lower prices, we take out today's low but don't get much, then we'll stretch the daily, balance low, and look to see if it's fadeable. If not, we find some acceleration, some volume of lower prices, and then you look to come trade down at this low day at 39.69. If all we do tomorrow is try to digest what happened today, then you'll look to just be pretty much rotational. A whole lot of chop is what I'm expecting. In all honesty, I'm expecting chop. I'm gonna try to not be biased tomorrow whenever I do trade. I'm gonna trade what happens. If we come out to the downside and have a trend day down, then obviously I'm gonna short. If we come out of this to the upside and start to find acceptance and begin or have trend trying to find acceptance into the upper distribution, I will be looking for the long side, maybe take a short against the balance high initially, which would also correlate with the weekly balance high as well. So I'm just going to keep it at that. We're not going to review the daily or the weekly because all 3 time frames are basically in balance. The monthly's in a balance, the weekly's in a balance, the daily is now back in a balance after all this pump up. Let's see what occurs going into tomorrow. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking out to the end. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you don't mind, leave a like. If you are new, please subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully, I'll have some trade reviews to go over as I'll be a little bit more active. That being said, have a good night.